So I was born with poor urethral bowels, so having a small bladder, which went into many operations when I was a child. When I was 9, I had a bladder augmentation, which enlarged my bladder. Nearly 20 years later, I'd still passing urine via a catheter that I put into my stomach, goes into the bladder. I do this every 3 hours and then use a drainage bag overnight. Had a kidney transplant in 2011 at the age of 17. After school, my kidneys basically packed in. 4 months into college, ended up being on dialysis for 8 months. Finally came off that to receive a transplanted kidney from my dad. To this day it still lasts, 11 years on. I've had 2 knee surgeries, one on both knees, ACL reconstruction and then a cartilage tear fixed. And then in 2020 I had temporal lobe brain surgery. Yeah, so when I was 16, growing up with kidney problems was never ideal. Yeah, I was 17 when the transplant happened. It was a real shock to me. I mean, I literally left school the year before, and then everything just spiraled downhill massively. I knew the pain threshold would be a lot. Dialysis on its own, I found out about that, and that was honestly the worst time of my life for 8 months, 6 nights a week. It was horrendous. But when I actually had the transplant, I was so relieved it actually happened. But no, it was a real shock to the system to find out I was going to have one in the first place. But looking back at it now, I wouldn't change it for the world. Yeah, there's been so many different times I've been in hospital. Not ideal. It's never really been a pleasant time, personally. Hospital's not the nicest experience. The food's pretty much awful. It's just constant blood tests, constant checking your blood pressure, how you are in yourself. It's all about getting through the worst of it and seeing the brighter side. In terms of personal life, it's probably changed me, and it probably matured me a lot from a young age, because I knew I had to, be sensible. Obviously I got to take medicine every single day. I went for a little patch of that when I was younger. I didn't take the medication because I was an idiot, really. But in a way it matured me. Being in hospital matured me. I had to grow up. And my mental health hasn't been great, especially since the epilepsy surgery 2 years ago. I have my good days and bad days, but then, who doesn't? It's different patches, different days. I mean, some days everything can be completely fine, and then be other days where I feel like I'm fighting off a seizure from, preventing it from happening. Or for instance, I'm getting stomach pains because of my pain in the kidney, or it's just a constant thing I've got to keep on making sure I'm alright every 2 minutes. I wouldn't really say it's been affected with others at all. I mean, people kind of accept me for who I am. I mean, yeah, I've got epilepsy. I'm not really afraid to hide that. People know I've got it. A lot of people have been very supportive, to be fair. And if I was to give them a signal that I was going to have one, I'd always have the people I know that would help me 100%, to ensure that I'm in a safe environment, making sure I'm in a stable condition if ever one was to happen, just reassuring me. And it's nice to have people that actually you think like they care for you and they're there when you actually need them most. Brain surgery. Year of lockdown, actually, funny enough. Yeah, it was all over the place. 2019, 2018, 2019, something like that, before Christmas. I was in hospital for a week just to do the tests with the brain, reducing the medication to see if I was eligible to have the operation in the first place. I did a lot of thought thinking over it, and obviously looked into the risks, the outcome of it, loads of stuff to really think about. I went with it, and I'd arguably say it was one of the best things I actually did. Yes, there was massive risks, massive chance of losing your memory, or losing your speech, even going blind. But to say I've only had 3 seizures since in 2 years compared to 53 in 1 year leading up to the operation. Yes, it was painful and the recovery time was a long, long time. Been through some stages where I thought depression or anxiety, but I think I can deal with them personally myself. But definitely having the surgery is, I am forever grateful from the surgeons. I believed them massively, and I put my trust, all in faith in them, and they delivered. Really, they turned around and said, "Okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do that." Yes, there's risks there, but I wanted to try and have a better life, and it really did work. Yeah, I've had a couple, but there's so much more I can do now in life. So choosing to have it, I'm just trying to think of better life, better lifestyle in general, not having that worry of a seizure randomly popping out of the blue. No, I'm glad it's done. It was scary, and probably a lot of people would turn around and say, "Oh, I don't want that." The aftermath of it was very painful, but I went with my gut, and as I said before, I really did believe what the team said. Maybe sometimes I get a bit, because I suppose you could relate about it being self-conscious in a way. I mean, yeah, I'd rather not have the transplant and the kidney problems, the epilepsy, but I mean, yeah, I'd say sometimes, because obviously I don't want to have these problems, and then there's other people that just got life easy, and you think, oh, they're driving, they got a decent enough job. Obviously with the epilepsy, it limits me to what I can and can't do. Life isn't as good as the average person. Every now and again, I suppose, there's days where I think, oh, I wish, he's better off than me, or something like that. But then everything happens for a reason. I just think when it's come to surgeries and big things that happened in life that set people back, I mean, at the end of the day, I can say I've come out the other side a better person. Yeah, I've had to overcome a lot of challenges, but I mean, life's pretty good right now. Everything happens for a reason, as I said. There's been times where the motivation, a lot of aspects in life I keep putting off, but then at the same time I just think about it, well, I live a good life, lucky to still be here, and I wake up every day thinking, breathing, that's a good point. Yeah, maybe going for a little bit of anxiety / depression, but then I've got so many people I know around me. It's brilliant. I'm working, and I'm alive at the end of the day. Yeah, got my family, just got a lot of people I can just go turn to. There's a lot of things I would change, and I mean, if I could change anything, it'd probably be that I didn't have to go for these health problems. But in saying that, if I didn't, would I be the person I am now, or would I be just some immature 28-year-old? I wish I never met my ex. She was a psycho. Can I change that? No. I wouldn't really change much. I just wish I could look back at the last 2 seizures I've had. I would go back in time and say, look, don't stress about that, because the last 2 seizures have been caused by overstressing about my driving lesson, about my knee, and if I'd never stressed about those 2 occasions, hopefully I could have been driving by now. You're not alone, really. Yeah, look, it's a bit of a disadvantage having those problems, I get that, and it is. I think not enough people probably speak about it enough. Yeah, I mean, it's greatest if you've got to take medicine, or you can't drive for a specific reason, or you're not 100%, you're not well, you're always feeling like you're off work or anything. But just remember that you're still alive. You get through it. You've got so many people around you. You probably don't realise it. You've got to stay strong. Put a smile on, and live every day like it's your last, by keeping healthy as possible.